Yo, what's up, YouTube? It's your boy Sports and Fitness Rants, and I'm back with another video, guys. Please click the like button, subscribe to my channel. It helps me help you. In this video today, we're gonna talk about something that I don't think a lot of people know. I wasn't even aware of it until some years back, but I wasn't aware, or I had forgotten, I guess, about it. Michael Jordan competed in the 1990 All-Star Game three-point contest, right? Or the All-Star Weekend three-point contest. Michael Jordan competed in the 1990 All-Star Weekend three-point contest. Can y'all believe that? A lot of people don't even know that or didn't know that. But Michael Jordan, yes, you heard it correctly. He competed in a three-point contest in 1990. And, it's one of those things where he did terribly in it. Let's not, we won't sugarcoat it there. He actually has the record, I believe, with Detlef Schrempf. I believe he has the record, tied for the record, for the least amount of points in a three-point contest. I believe he scored 5 points, I believe, in that contest. He was the first player eliminated in 1990. So that's the record for the lowest output in a three-point contest. But that doesn't matter, right? Because like I just said, a lot of you people, didn't even know that he even competed in the three-point contest, right? A lot of people don't even know that. So, obviously, him doing so poorly in the three-point contest had no impact on his legacy or his career. Because, like I said, a lot of people don't even remember that he even did it, let alone how badly he did in it, right? And we all know that Michael Jordan was not a quote-unquote three-point shooter. He was a really good shooter. He just wasn't a three-point shooter, or that wasn't really his game, that kind of shooting. And I'll explain in a second. But, what that shows you about Michael Jordan's mentality and what that tells you about who he was and who he is that he wasn't afraid to fail, right? You've heard the quotes before from people, right? You've heard the Kobe Bryant quotes. You've heard the quotes from Larry Bird. You've heard the quotes from Michael Jordan. You've heard the quotes from LeBron James. You've heard the quotes from this guy, and you've heard the quotes from that guy, right? All these players had these quotes that they get quoted, and maybe they've heard it from other people or they read it somewhere, and it's something that they, live by, let's say, and, they believe in this quote, or but they believe in this saying, or whatever it is. And you've heard Michael Jordan talk about failure in the past. You've heard him talk about, all the failures he's had in his life, led him to where he is, and that, he doesn't take failure as a failure. It's just another step in his journey. And it's obviously he lived his life like that, and he continues to live his life like that, where he believes that he won't make the same mistake twice because he's going to learn from his mistakes. And we all hope to do that, right? We all hope to learn from our mistakes and never make the same mistakes twice. Life is hard sometimes, and we stumble across along the way, and sometimes we make the same mistakes. We want to try not to make the same mistakes more than once, but sometimes we do. In the case of someone like a Michael Jordan, he uses those failures, or quote-unquote failures, to lift him up to even higher heights, right? And that's why he was able to attain the level of greatness that he was able to attain. When you think about things like, the story that he didn't make the varsity team as a freshman or whatever it was, a sophomore, something like that, and he was upset by that. So he used that as motivation, and that's where it started, his battles with his older brother Larry, where he built up, his early competitiveness, and, like I said, the fear of failure that it was never there for him. He wasn't afraid to fail. He wasn't afraid of the moment. And that's how he played, which is why he was able to step up whenever the lights shine the brightest, right? And the pressure was up. Jordan always seemed to come through on top more times than he didn't, because he lived for those moments. He was prepared for those moments, and he wasn't worried about missing the shot or making a bad pass or, whatever the case may be. He wasn't worried about that because he used that. So as that pertains to the three-point contest in 1990, that's all the proof you guys need to show that he was not afraid of failure. Okay? How many people, right, would put themselves out there, in a three-point contest for the whole world to see, right? It's All-Star Weekend, 1990. Mind you, Michael Jordan at this point has not won an NBA championship yet. So it's not as if, Michael Jordan was on his, 2-3 year run where he's the top guy in the NBA. He's won these championships and he can do no wrong. This is at a time in 1990 where he still hasn't won yet. He's been in the league for about 5-6 years now, and the pressure is starting to build on him, right? He has to get it done. People don't believe he's going to ever be able to win. This was the talk of Michael Jordan at that time. He's never going to be able to get past the Detroit Pistons. He's never going to be a winner. He just scores a lot. He's a great player, but, a guard can't carry a franchise to a championship. You need to have a big man, right? That's what they said. So the fact that he was able, or the fact that he went and competed in the three-point contest at that point of his career, like I said, he really put himself out there. Now, I don't know in his mind if he thought that he was going to do better than 5 points. I don't know. I couldn't tell you that. I'm assuming that he thought he was going to do better than 5 points. Because when you go back and you look at Michael Jordan's career, and I'm not one for numbers per se. I think numbers are great as long as they have context. But if you look back at some of the numbers of Michael Jordan's career, the 1989-1990 season was perhaps his greatest three-point shooting season. When you take into consideration that they moved in the three-point line in the after he came back from his first retirement, his three-point percentages were pretty good when he came back because the line was a little bit closer, which was a lot easier for him because a lot of the shots that he took regularly were just long twos that weren't threes. But at that time, when they moved the line in, a lot of those threes that he was taking were long twos that he normally would take. But when you look at the 1989-1990 season, I believe he shot something like 38% from three with the original three-point line. And that was the highest percentage that he shot in his career. Like I said, when you don't take in the years that the line was moved in. So I'm assuming that's why. And I think he was taking something like three-pointers a game. I think 3 a game, which, when you think about that now, it's crazy when you think about guys who are taking like 10, 12 threes a game now. But he was taking 3, which was a lot for him. I think that might have been the highest of his career. 3-pointers a game. I believe he was making about, 1.5 or something like that, a little bit less than 1.1 or whatever it was. So I believe that was part of his motivation into attempting the three-point contest. He was probably thinking, I'm starting to get a little bit more comfortable now shooting these three-point shots. I'm decent at it. Maybe I'll go to the three-point contest and, it'll be a little bit easier. There's no one standing in front of you. You have a controlled environment, blah, blah, blah. But I believe that the three-point contest is not made for someone like a Michael Jordan because the three-point contest is made for just pure shooters, right? Pure three-point shooters and people who are spot-up shooters, right? So like when you think about a pure shooter like a Larry Bird, right? Craig Hodges, Mark Price, who competed. I'm thinking about guys who competed back in that time. John Stockton's, some of these guys, they're just pure shooters, man, right? But then you have guys who are spot-up guys, that would compete in those contests. Guys like Klay Thompson, he's a more recent guy, whatever. But what I was trying to relate you guys. The spot-up shooters, right, would do good in those things. Guys like Steve Kerr, the Jason Caponos, guys who have won it that weren't necessarily able to create their own shot, but they were good spot-up shooters. That's what the three-point contest favors. Guys like that, right? In those days, in the 80s and the 90s, those were the guys that competed in the three-point contest. Those were the guys that usually won the three-point contest. Reggie Millers, guys like that. There was nobody to compete. And I don't know if this is the only time in history. I'm not sure, but this could be. Michael Jordan could be the only guy to compete in both the slam dunk contest and the three-point contest in his career. I don't know if that's true or not. He might be one of, 2 or 3 or 4 people. I'm not sure, but I know, he's got to be, like you said, one of the only people to ever compete in a dunk contest and a three-point contest because you don't see guys competing in dunk contests and competing in three-point because they're two completely different kinds of skills, especially, like I said, in that day and age where shooting was more of a niche thing, especially three-point shooting. That wasn't necessarily like it is now prevalent, where everybody kind of practices and shoots threes. So I believe that has something to do with Michael Jordan doing the contest in 1990, because he was having a pretty good season shooting three-pointer that year. But you're going against, I believe that year he competed against Larry Bird, Craig Hodges, who won that year, Mark Price, I think Reggie Miller, and I think there was another guy. I think there was another guy that competed. But you see the guys I just named, Michael Jordan, he's not going to beat those guys. He's not a better three-point shooter than any of those guys that I just mentioned. But it was about the not fearing failure, right? Michael Jordan wasn't afraid to put himself out there. And unfortunately, a lot of guys today don't feel that same way. Or over the last, 10 years or so, there are a lot of guys in the NBA, big name players, who didn't feel the same way, who didn't feel the need or felt maybe scared that they would fail, so they didn't want to participate in, either dunk contests or skills contests or whatever the case may be. Mostly the dunk contest, right, was where I feel like a lot of the big name high flyers, quote unquote high flyers, they won't do the dunk contest for whatever the reason is. But Michael Jordan was not afraid to do the three-point contest, like I said, in a time where he wasn't a champion yet, right? So there was still a lot of criticism being thrown around Michael Jordan, and yet he was still, like I said, not afraid to put himself out there, the three-point contest, knowing that he probably would not win that contest. And then ultimately he did so poorly. Like I said, he hit the all-time low for points, which is 5. But it didn't impact his legacy or his career, because all that was just another speed bump in the road to greatness for Michael Jordan. So I just wanted to bring that up, guys, and I wanted to talk about that in terms of, Michael Jordan's mindset and the fact that he did the three-point contest. A lot of people are scared to even do a dunk contest when they're dunkers. Michael Jordan wasn't afraid to even do a three-point contest when he was never considered a three-point shooter. He was still not afraid to put himself out there and compete, because that's who Michael Jordan was and who he is. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, man. Click the like button, subscribe, YouTube, please. Your boy Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm out. I'll be back with another one for you guys.